Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today at the Digital Success face-to-face interaction. This is our first episode, and the idea of doing Digital Success Facebook Live and Twitter Periscope is to basically deliver you actionable insights that you can use in your business and which you can actually apply and grow your business on a regular basis. So today I have a very special person with me. I have Mr. Arun Agrawal, who has been into IT industry for almost 32 years and who has been into internet industry for 18 years. This means almost from the very beginning of internet industry, and he has in-depth understanding about digital marketing, and we have lots of debates at times about how to do digital marketing and on various aspects and tools of digital marketing. So one of the tool, which is conversion rate optimization, is a very favorite of Arun. So I thought we will discuss that with Arun, because conversion rate optimization can be a very useful tool from the digital marketing toolkit. So yes, Arun, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhishek, and good evening. And if you're watching in the morning, good morning to all the friends out there on Facebook and Twitter.
So Arun, let us start with something very simple for people who may not have understood or heard about CRO. So what is conversion rate optimization? What is CRO?
Yeah, CRO is actually quite interesting concept, because most of the people were very heavily focused on digital marketing and tools to generate more traffic to the website. But then over a period of time, people realize that if they're getting lots of visitors to the website, but they're not getting enough leads or business, then it is basically no use. So there was this need that, okay, even if we have a few visitors or more visitors, but we should be actually generating an actionable work from them. So, we call it my most wanted response. So maybe your website is generating a lead, or is generating a sale because if it is an e-com site, or you could even be asking for a newsletter subscription. But whatever you are asking the users to do, so there's a conversion rate concept, basically says if you've got 100 visitors to your site, and 4 out of them convert or take the action, then you've got a conversion rate of 4, and 96% you're basically losing. So conversion rate optimization basically optimizes the conversion rate, and we try to increase the conversion rate. You probably get 6 leads or 10 leads out of the 100 visitors or sales.
So does it mean that we are actually going to get more leads out of the same number of visitors? This means I don't have to increase my budget to get the visitors, but I can get more leads from the same visitors if I do conversion rate optimization on my website.
That's the exact concept. So, you could always throw, if you want to double your leads, you could possibly double your traffic.
Right.
Hoping that, the quality of the traffic will be same and you will get the same amount of business. But more traffic means more cost. So conversion rate optimization tries to get more conversions out of the same traffic. So your input costs remain the same, but your business results increase.
Right. So how does CRO really works? So what exactly happens in CRO? If someone comes to you and say that please do CRO for my website, what does it really mean?
It's quite interesting actually. CRO is a very interesting game, it involves psychology and technology both.
Okay.
So if somebody comes to your website, why did you put up the website in the first place? You wanted to get some business out of it. Maybe you are trying to get immediate sale if it is an e-com site, or it's just a lead gen site where you're just getting somebody to request you for a quote for your products. So what happens is that, come again, what was your question?
So what I'm asking is that, what do you exactly do when someone comes to you for a CRO?
Sorry about that. So what happens is that we look at the psychology angle. So what is it that the customer or the prospect is actually trying to get out of website? What is the problem they are facing? So what we do is, if your message, if you make a promise that, okay, if you have got this pain, then I will be offering this solution. This will be a cost-effective solution. I'm the right person to offer this solution, or the right company to offer this solution. Then they'll possibly be impressed. Either they will buy your goods, or they will be supplying you, they'll be asking you for a quote, which is where you can, your sales team can take it forward. So we try to improve this from the psychology angle. And then there is a technology angle, because who wants to wait, in this 2018, so who wants to wait for a website to load 20 seconds, 30 seconds? What they do is, we, as a part of the technology improvement, we try to make the site load faster. deliver good results, be very quick, be very fast, be very impressive. So the technology and psychology, we combine the two to get more conversions out of the visitors.
So does it mean that we should invest in CRO after having a substantial traffic? So what is that benchmark? How much traffic should we have before we actually go and invest in a CRO project to make it viable?
Yeah, this is very interesting question, because a lot of people tell us that we don't even have traffic, so what is the point of having CRO? So my answer to this will be that there are a lot of things in CRO which don't have any relationship to the traffic. So if you are improving the quality of your website, I mean, you have low traffic or high traffic, it doesn't matter. You should have a very good quality website, because you will not get any results from the low traffic. If you can throw more dollars and you get more traffic, you will still not get any results. So you should do the basic stuff related to CRO definitely, even if you have low number of visitors. And it's a very interesting game. So if you have got better conversion, you are very comfortable in throwing more dollars at the advertising, or maybe improving your SEO to get more organic leads, because you know that whatever money I am spending on that avenue in getting the traffic, that money will be well utilized, because I will be getting more business out of that.
So how do I know if my CRO is working or not when I have very little traffic? Because that is a challenge. So if I have only 100 visitors coming to my website in a month, and if I have to invest in a CRO project, and obviously I would like to understand that what has been my increase in conversion by doing this CRO project, how would I come to know about that?
100 visitors per month is actually quite low, of course, but what happens is that CRO, when it is working, that optimization, when it is working, then it will give you more number of leads or sales. So proportionately it goes up. The numbers go up when it's a very high volume site, but for a low volume site the numbers may not go up.
Okay, so do you mean to say that there is a particular level at which the site has to be to start getting some benefit out of CRO?
Yeah.
Until that time you need to kind of invest in that site to get to that level, and then you start getting the results.
So you must do the basic stuff anyway. As I said, there are two parts of the optimization. One is where you do the necessary, we call it hygiene factors.
So if I understand it right, the hygiene factors are also quite critical for SEO.
Actually, CRO, whatever work you do for CRO improves your SEO, because you must have heard that when the people are staying on your site for longer and they are interacting with your site more, then your SEO score always goes up and your ranking will improve, and possibly you will be getting more traffic also.
So it means that CRO is kind of an advanced form of SEO plus, with obviously where we are putting a lot of attention on psychology and other things as well. So CRO is an optimization, of course, like search engine optimization. This is conversion rate optimization, but it looks like search engines are now interested to see and promote sites which has high conversion. This means if you are doing good CRO, you are also doing good SEO. Is this right?
Automatically, yes, because SEO will drive more traffic.
Okay.
But once you have got good conversion rates, actually, so optimization basically gives the CR.
Right.
So the conversion rate, if it is very high, then automatically your SEO improves. Of course, you have to have the SEO factors in place, but CRO definitely pushes the SEO much higher.
So if I have a low traffic right now, and if I want to just make sure that my website is fit for CRO and I'm getting some results from a vendor whom I have hired to do CRO, is it also advisable to go for paid advertising for that duration of the project to push more traffic and to get my site to an optimized level, and then maybe I decide how I want to push traffic to my website, be it organic or be it paid? That is a secondary decision I can take, but for the duration of the CRO project, can I actually push paid traffic to the website to have a surety that I am having sufficient number of people or sufficient number of traffic on the website to get the ROI or to be able to measure the ROI out of it?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting concept. CRO basically improves, as I said, the hygiene factors. But after that, you will possibly running split tests to see whether this version of the website is better than this version of the website, whether this change that I made is working or not working. Now, this can only be proven when you have got decent amount of traffic. So to get the maximum mileage out of your CRO efforts, it is a very interesting idea that you should be possibly throwing some more traffic towards the website.
Okay.
But please make sure that it is targeted traffic. But if you throw junk traffic, you can only get junk out of it.
That's right. So, what I understand from you in this short period of time, obviously, we will know a lot more over this discussion today. You need a multidisciplinary skill set to do CRO, because as you said, you are trying to connect two things. One is psychology, one is technology, which are two very different areas. And one comes from the field of humanities and one comes from the field of science. And when we are talking about connecting these two, and obviously the overall intention is to generate commerce, right? So we are trying to bring the three big areas together. So obviously it's extremely wide in terms of being multidisciplinary. So to do this CRO correct, what is the overpowering skill that the CRO expert, or I mean in this case yourself, must possess to get the right results?
A mix of all.
I know the mix, but what is the overpowering one? Like which one is like you can't be a CRO if you are not having this skill?
Okay, let's put it this way. If you've got a fantastic website which does not make the right promise, it loads very fast, it looks awesome, but it doesn't even tell what I am selling, so I will not get any good results. However, if I've got a great product, if my communication is very clear, but my site possibly takes longer, my design is not that great, I would still get some business. So I would say the communication which is being done through the website, that is probably the most vital aspect.
So the communication,
everything supports it.
So if I understand, it is a communication skill.
One of it is web communication skills. So since we are totally focused on the websites, how you communicate over the website is most important.
So again, what I understand is there are two different, if I see in a broad way, there are two different actions that happen when you do when a person goes to the website. If it's an e-commerce website, people end up buying the product. If it's a lead generation website, people just generally fill up a form and that leads goes to the company.
Yes.
In these two different websites, does the approach to CRO differs?
Well, it overlaps to a great extent, because again, coming back to the hygiene, the basic concept of how a website should be, that remains same. But on the other hand, when it is an e-com site trying to sell a product, then what happens is that we have seen a lot of shopping cart abandonment. So your product must be described well. The person should see, okay, I want to buy this. But then if the integrity of the site, if it is not performing well, if the shopping cart is not handled well, then there are a lot of drop-offs from there. So you have to take good care of that aspect. On the other hand, if it is a lead generation website, you've seen forms. So the cycle is quite short. Somebody fills up a quote request form and that's it. So they get a thank you mail and then possibly the sales team takes over. However, lots of people we have seen, they ask for the company name, the zip code, and lots of information which are possibly irrelevant. So my suggestion to them is ask for the bare minimum amount of information which will get the relationship started, and let this person not get excited about, maybe he gets excited about what you are doing for them, and they do not get threatened about so many information. Oh my god, because people are so much concerned about privacy now. Once they become comfortable with you, your sales team has met them, they can always ask for some more information. So making that lead generation form as short as it can be is definitely one of the interesting things you can do.
And especially privacy has become a hot topic after the recent issue with Facebook.
Absolutely.
So I think so again, I think we also have a lot of non-technical audience with us. So would you like to just explain a little bit the technical aspect of CRO? So how does it really technically work? So how do you measure the difference in the conversion rate, and how do you optimize it, and how does this whole thing work on the technical side? Can you give a little bit of insight on that?
So there are a lot of analytics tool, because most of the website owners have got Google Analytics installed on their website. Some people have got Kissmetrics or Adobe or some other analytics tool. Which tool you are using does not matter, but possibly that tool is giving you lots of information about how the traffic is behaving on your website. How many people came to your website, how many bounced off, so just they came to one page and aborted from there only. How many people actually converted, took action, so what we call goal completion. So if you know that I am getting say 1,000 visitors to my website in 1 week, and out of that 20 are actually converting to leads, or they are completing the goals that I have set for them. So you know that you are working at 2% conversion rate. And after the CRO work, if you realize that okay, my conversion rate has gone up, I am getting more leads per 100 visitors. So that way you can say that okay, the CRO efforts are working and they are producing better results.
So which tools do you use for CRO? I think there are some conversion optimization tools that you use. And I think one of the tool is called Visual Website Optimizer, which is an Indian product.
Yes, it is. So it's a lovely product
Indian
actually.
Startup ecosystem obviously is very proud of this product.
We're quite proud of VWO, yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell me like how does this software work and how do these products help you in doing CRO work?
Okay, so just to clarify before I answer this question, CRO is not split testing only.
Okay.
So, some people actually confuse that, okay, when you're talking of CRO or conversion rate optimization, you're actually doing split testing for us. Okay. Split testing is only one of the tools for doing CRO. Okay. So, I have a conversion rate, I want to optimize this conversion rate. How do I do it? Most of the times, except for the hygiene factors, which are always a common factor, what I will do is I will say, okay, looking at your website, I believe, and looking at your customer profile, that psychology angle, I think if you make this kind of a promise or your heading is not clear, you say have great tours with us. So instead of saying have great tours with us, you can say have great tours to Andamans at starting at 50,000 per person. So if you give a clearer message, possibly the person will be more interested to interact with you. Okay. And explore your offerings. So when you are doing this, then you have a control which is existing site and you have a challenger. So we say, okay, I think this is going to work better, and we put these two in front of each other and they fight it out. Okay. For doing that split testing, we use the tool like VWO.
So what you are saying is that these tools like Visual Website Optimizers are primarily used to check if our experiment is correct or not.
Is working better or improving the results, yes.
So experiments are separate. There are tools to measure the success or failure of an experiment so that you can take more decisive steps to ensure that you are in the right direction in improving your website for conversion.
Absolutely. But before that, there is a very important step, is deciding on what will be my challenger.
Okay.
Because that is where the psychology part comes in. Okay. So if I've got a website, then we have to identify that I believe this call to action button does not look very impressive. Can I change it in some way? So one of the recommendations we have is that if your overriding color of your website is mostly greenish, green, blue, then you could put the call to action button in red, so it will stand out. Okay. So I bring this hypothesis to the table. Okay. But that is just a hypothesis. This I do from my experience of the market, of how internet technology works, how customers behave on the internet. But after doing this decision, I have to actually prove it to myself, because every website is different, every visitor is different.
And I understand the visitors also keep changing from time to time.
Yeah.
So the visitor's mindset today will be different from a visitor's mindset after 3 months.
Absolutely. Right? The visitor's mindset, the visitor's profile. I mean, today you may be advertising in The Week or some other magazine, and tomorrow you may be putting banners on your city.
Right.
So the profile of the visitors totally change. So your promotions possibly and the landing pages where these visitors are going to land on your website, those have to be updated according to that.
Okay. So what you are saying is that it's a process of continuous improvement based on certain hypotheses that the conversion rate optimization expert brings on the table.
Yes.
Based on his experience and based on his gut feeling as well as his scientific data that he might have gathered from his previous experiments in previous organizations, and then those experiments are run. And those experiments are measured on a certain set of traffic to understand that if there is an improvement in the conversion after applying these hypotheses on that, if this hypothesis is proven right, then we keep that as a new control copy, and then we move on and do the next experiment.
And do the next experiment, because you will not be satisfied. You may be getting 40% conversion, but you definitely have to improve that even more.
But at times the conversion rate may also drop because you are changing things and then you are making it live. And what happens if the conversion rate drops?
Oh, it does.
Okay.
You cannot say every experiment will be a success, because if the experiment will be a success guaranteed, why do you need to run an experiment? Okay. You can simply change that page.
So the conversion rate can also drop. So what do company do in that case? I mean, do they continue to run that experiment or they shut it off?
That's very interesting. So most of these there is a concept of statistical significance.
Okay.
So when you are running an experiment, you are throwing your existing page which is possibly working at 6% conversion, and you started challenging it with another experiment, and you suddenly find that my rate has gone down to 3.5. Definitely the business will not be very happy about it.
Right.
So either you can run the experiment for some time and get quick results, or if you're trying to play safe, what you can do is only throw part of the traffic to the experiment.
Okay.
So 60% of the traffic goes to the working page,
Okay.
20% of the traffic goes to the working page as part of the test, 20% goes to the challenger.
So this means that I can also run experiment with only 25 or 30% of my traffic, and I don't need to really run the experiment with 50% of my traffic.
Yeah, so your base is covered, you don't absolutely get to a 0 point or very poor point.
But for that kind, you need to have a much higher amount of traffic as well.
You need to have a good amount of traffic because, if you don't put enough traffic, you don't achieve statistical significance.
Right.
We have seen lots of experiments where the initial result was 6% improvement.
Okay.
And over a period of time, it actually settled at 1% improvement, or even it went down, So it's always very important that you don't take a very quick decision. You got 6% improvement, oh my God, and you are over the moon.
Yeah.
And you just switch the page, and then you realize, oh my God, this was just a spike, and for some reason, that page was actually not all that good.
Okay.
But people may have liked it because of the novelty or some other feature.
Right.
It cannot sustain the.
So you need to also check about the sustenance of the improvement that you are actually looking at, and once you have achieved statistical significance, then only you make that as a control page, and then you move on and do the next experiment.
That is very, very important because we have seen lots of people suffer very badly when they quickly took a decision, and either they may even have killed the experiment because of the challenger was very good quality, but it did not show the results quickly. And they thought that, oh my God, I'm going to lose leads, and they chucked that experiment, but they may have missed out on a winner.
So Arun, I have a very interesting situation. So sometime back, a client came to me and said, my site has become quite old, and I want to launch a new website altogether because then I will get more leads.
Yeah.
So if I understand what you are saying is that if he is launching a new website altogether from scratch, this means that he has to again go through the entire CRO process and optimize his conversion rate. And this means his beginning may not be as good as he is actually thinking, because it's not experimented, it's not tested, it's not tried, and it's not been used by the users yet. So this means that when you are launching a new website or you revamping a website, there's a huge expense of CRO attached with that to really take it to the level where even if you were before you started this website modification.
Absolutely, because some of the people get bored from their website.
Okay.
This is a very interesting thought. People come to me and say, this website is so old, I've been watching it for 2 years. So I always tell them that you may be watching it for 2 years, but your visitors are not watching it for 2 years. So if it is working well, you don't have to replace the entire website. However, if you decide to change it completely, you're better off throwing a part of the traffic to the new website and see that it is producing the same amount of conversions or better before you switch completely and leave out. Most of the good companies will never switch their website. They'll send the new website only to a controlled set of visitors and see how it is performing. And they may even delete that project.
But the whole idea is that you have to rerun the experiments. This means that there is a cost involved of CRO when you launch a new design or a new interface of your website. Your cost is not only the website design or development, but your cost also must include a budget for CRO. Because if you are not including or budgeting for that, then you possibly are going to get an inferior website in terms of the ROI from that. So moving on from here, what I would like to understand from you is that when you are doing CRO for a company, how do you engage with them and set up a working relationship? Because it's a very for a new person who is buying CRO service for the first time, or he's saying that please optimize my website for getting better conversion so that I can make more money from the same traffic. It can be a very daunting task to decide who is the right person, and more than that how do I measure success, and how do I pay to my consultant for the success that I achieve?
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic concept, and yes, people are definitely confused. Like when somebody approaches us that, sir, I have heard that you do CRO for us, you can improve our results. Will the new results be visible from tomorrow or the next week or what? So, it's a matter of, again, matching the expectations. So the first thing we do is that what is your website doing presently? What are the results? Where are your challenges? And what exactly are you expecting after the improvement? So most of the people will say we need more leads. So we will have to come to an understanding that if you're generating so many leads per month or per 100 visitors or 1000 visitors, then we have to set a target that this is one of the deliverables that we should have. So the KPI must state that my conversion rate, which is X at this moment, should increase by at least 1% or 2% or 5%. Then only this project will be treated as a success.
Right.
So setting up these KPIs, the corresponding cost. So, but I cannot always tell you that your website will improve by 5%. So, for example, if your website is currently doing 1%, I could possibly make it 3% very soon.
Okay. So, how do you assess how much you can, where you can take that website?
Depends, because what we do is using certain tools, we review the website on several parameters. Some are technical and some are, as I said, psychological. So, is the messaging clear enough? Are they not clear and just put together something? So then we know that there is a very good improvement potential if we make the clarity as the important part. So, some people have got fantastic looking websites. They have got lots of stock images and looks awesome. But if you look at that website, you will not even know what they are selling. So we review the site based on all the psychological. So it's more like a gut feeling analysis, as well as we do a lot of technical analysis.
So I think we discussed quite a lot about CRO, how it should be done, why it should be done. Why not you share some of your amazing tips? I am asking you some of your trade secrets so that companies can actually start implementing them in their business straight away and benefit from them. Because one of the main objective of doing digital success series of webinars is that people should get actionable tips which they can actually apply in their business next day.
Yeah.
So why don't you share some thoughts, some ideas with our audience and let them make use of that.
Takeaways are actually my favorite part of all talks.
Excellent.
So I also insist that if you hear to some talk and you've spent your valuable 1 hour or 2 hours, you must be able to take home some information instead of just clapping and moving on. So if you were to do CRO of your website, I would say the first thing you must focus is on improving the page speed, because it's a very, very low hanging fruit. The sites use huge images taken from a digital camera, so probably the resolution is 3500 by something or 5000 pixels, and they are going to display it in 300 pixel window. So it will be a 5 megabyte website, whereas a 50 kilobyte website would have done the same job. So page speed improvement of the website is extremely important. As I said earlier, who's going to wait for 20 seconds for your site to load when the competition is just a click away? So first thing I would suggest is improve the page speed of the entire website,
so
specifically the main pages.
When you increase the page speed?
Big improvements. We have recently improved the page speed of a page from 8 seconds to 3.5 seconds, and their conversion has gone up from I think it was 1.6% to 3.5%.
Wow.
Only because of this change.
Multiplying effect, almost.
Yeah, but I would not say multiplying, but with 1% automatically it becomes twice. But every time it cannot be twice, yes. But it increases, it improves.
You can immediately
time on site
and benefit from it.
Yeah. The time on site increases because people are staying longer, because they know the pages will load faster. So these are some of the technical things. Then we switch back to the communication part of it. So the next thing I would possibly say is that what are your headlines? Are you having good clarity on your messaging? I am a big supporter and fan of Flint McLaughlin of Marketing Experiments. So one of his favorite clauses is, pardon me, clarity beats persuasion. And I keep telling this to all my clients, that instead of using lots of persuasive techniques and psychological mind tricks, just state what you are offering in a clear language, and this person will quickly understand that am I at the right place, whether my requirement will be fulfilled on this site or not. Then if that is so, then you make it easy for the person to buy. So you have to provide all the supporting information, like if it is say a mobile phone, so you want to know the specs, what are the protocols it supports, how much memory, screen size, blah blah blah. So all this information must be given on the page itself, so that the person can actually decide to go ahead and buy.
But isn't that too much of information? If I want to give a complete spec of a mobile phone on a web page, it can become too much of a content for someone to digest and take a decision on that phone. In that case, won't it kind of just delay his whole process and confuse him?
No, entirely not.
Okay.
There are two types of long informations. One is that information where you put a high brick wall of 20 feet, so maybe 30 line paragraph, and nobody will dare to actually read it. But if you organize your data properly with subheads, with the liked information grouped there, then you don't buy a mobile because it looks good or it is priced at say 20,000 rupees or 60,000 rupees, or if the camera is say 20 MP. Just based on this, you don't buy a mobile phone. You have lots of questions in your mind. Unless those questions are answered, nobody is going to buy the phone.
So what is the way I can get the questions that is sitting inside my prospect's mind? How can I get the list of those questions so that I can answer them on my homepage?
If you're new, you guess.
Okay.
Probably you use yourself. It's a very interesting thing. You can wear your customer's hat. You say, okay, what happens if I were to buy a mobile phone?
Okay.
What will be the questions in my mind? What will be the data points I will be looking at?
Okay.
So my customers are probably asking the same questions. And if you are a settled business person, already in the business for quite some time, talk to your salespersons. You tell them that, why did these people buy our phone? So if you are Vivo or Motorola or Sony or Apple, you say, why did these people buy? So possibly people buy Apple because of brand value. It's great to flaunt. It doesn't fail, or whatever other branding messages they are associating with. Somebody may be buying a phone because it is cheap. So depending on what is the predominant factor for which people are buying your phone, you've got to highlight that message on your phone.
This means we can also research the industry or the market and also try to find out what people are looking at my competitor. So when they are buying a competitive product, what are the key aspects or key information they are seeking out in their shops? So, would it be useful for me if I stand in a competitor's shop and just watch the customers?
Yes, of course. And if it is not a very high value product, or even if it is, why don't you become a mystery shopper?
Okay.
And go and shop and see what are the mistakes that people are making in selling. So it is just another angle of the same story. Or you just stand as an intern in a sales shop and see what do the people ask when they come to ask for a phone. So somebody may say, show me a phone within $200 or rupees 10,000. Show me a phone with a very high MP rating or with a high amount of memory. So what are the things that people are asking when they are looking for a phone? If you can just highlight those features well, Apple will not say my phone is very cheap.
Right.
Whereas there are other companies will say this is the phone within this budget, so why don't you buy my phone? So how you brand yourself, that is important.
So CRO is also a lot about marketing. If your marketing has been done right, your CRO will work better than compared to a company which has not done their marketing right, their market research right, their product definition right. So I think it's a lot about marketing as well.
I would say never hire a CRO agency who is not either already having a knowledge about your industry, or at least they are not keen to get that information from you. If whenever you talk about your industry, why people buy, why people indulge in your services, etc., and they always brush off and say, okay, we'll handle this technically, it will be a bad decision possibly.
So this means the CRO expert has to also talk not only to the CEO of the company or the marketing team of the company, but they also need to talk to the sales guys of the company, to the different stakeholders who are involved in facing the customer, as well as making the overall product strategy, so that whole concept we can ensure that the whole concept of the product and the philosophy behind the company and the product is communicated right, and if that fetches the right feedback in terms of sales or leads from the client or not.
Exactly, because if you're communicating the right message, then only people are going to buy. And the people who could best tell you is the customer facing person.
So tell me one thing. So for example, let's say if I have a value proposition and you have captured the value proposition right.
Yeah.
After doing the CRO, you understand that this value proposition itself is flawed.
Yes.
And people are not interested in this value proposition and they are interested in an alternate value proposition.
Yes.
Would you suggest the company to change the value proposition altogether?
Absolutely, we have done that. I'll tell you a recent example.
Okay.
So there was this company selling a software, and their message was set up a new entity. So let's be very specific. It was about a restaurant software.
Okay.
And their prime messaging on the website was quickly set up a restaurant.
Okay.
And I was interviewing this owner and I said, how much percentage of your customers are new restaurant owners? They say very small, about 10 to 15%. Now, where does your sale come from? From restaurant owners who are already using another software. They are fed up, they are bored. they're not getting good work from them, so they switch over to us.
Okay.
So I said, why are you talking about a new restaurant owner setting up a new restaurant?
Okay.
Why don't you talk about my software is better than others? You will get productive more quickly, you will save more time, blah blah blah. So that is how we changed their messaging, and now they are getting much better results.
Anjan Regmi.
Okay.
I hope I have got
Hi,
the
Anjan.
name right. Yeah. So I'm new in digital marketing. What are the basic steps I should take on my starting period? Basically, what are your suggestions for starters?
Starters.
Yes. So what
I would
someone who's
assume-
getting new into digital marketing, what should he do? What should he learn, or what should he practice first?
Digital marketing, improve the site quality. So
Okay.
learn about what are the technical aspects. Read some blogs on conversion CRO. So search for CRO blogs, and you will get across a lot of blogs through PayPleasure and conversionexcel.com and so many other websites. So read up about this. What are the things which are actually impacting the conversion? Because initially in digital marketing, if you just start putting ads or doing lots of SEO hygiene definitely you have to do. You have to have basics in place. But other than that, if your site is converting better, you can always convince your boss or your company or whoever to spend some dollars on advertising, AdWords or whichever way, and because you will be able to deliver results. So focus on what the website should look like, what the website should produce results, what are the action points, and then possibly you will have great results.
Would you suggest any particular blog on CRO to our audience?
I think conversionexcel.com gives out a very good blog.
So it's
Marketing experiment.
conversionexcel.com.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So make a note of it. It's conversionexcel.com. It's a very interesting blog. You can have a look at that. I think it will possibly help you learn the tricks, Anjan. So best of luck. We'll move to another question which has come from Rabbani Hussain. Rabbani Hussain is asking how mouse tracking analysis, that's heat map,
Yeah.
helps CRO.
This is a great idea, because there is a saying, don't believe what they say, believe on what they do. So if you can use a tool like Hotjar or any other tool which offers you heat maps,
Crazy Egg is another one, isn't it?
Crazy Egg is possibly one. So you could possibly look at how your customers are behaving on your website, or the prospects, which are the things they are clicking. So one of the very interesting thing which I noticed recently is that somebody had put up a huge hero image, and when I clicked on the hero image, nothing happened.
Okay.
So people tend to click. So if you find from your heat map that lots of people are actually clicking on the hero image, then you could possibly set up a link to take them to wherever you expect them to go.
Okay.
So if you make a promise, then you could possibly take them to another section of the same page, or another page which provides more details about this. So this gives you very good insights about how people are behaving, but don't trust them blindly, because some people are actually fiddlers, so they move the mouse around.
Okay.
And they screw up your data.
So what I understand is that obviously see data, analyze data, but use your common sense, right?
Yes,
So don't get blinded by data.
Yes.
Obviously, data is very, very critical, and everything is data driven, everything is experiment driven. But use your own common sense and try to question everything, and then try to create a hypothesis and then test the hypothesis.
Yeah, and think why they did this, what they did. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what is very important is to figure out not only what worked, but why it worked. Even if you have to delve deep into human psychology and human brain, there are lots of books which are being written nowadays. Especially, I think it has become a subject of massive interest in general people, because you have books like Think Fast, Think Slow, and you have Robin Cialdini has become kind of the poster boy of everyone who is now making websites. So I think you need to delve deeper into human mind to understand the reasons, because unless you understand the reason, your hypothesis is just a hypothesis. Even if you are getting some outcome out of it, I think it's just pure luck, and you are not able to repeat it in your next project.
Absolutely.
There is another question from the team at Sasta Sundar.
Okay.
So possibly Arun will answer that if you send him some free medicines.
No, it's okay.
So what are the top ways for CRO for landing pages for e-commerce sales? Not necessarily lead generation, but e-commerce sales for new products.
For new products, okay. So you're trying to sell the product, it's a new product, people don't know about it. You would possibly like to introduce the product, saying why somebody should bother. Because if I am not asking for this product, then possibly you convince me somehow using a promise. You said, okay, if you buy this particular medicine, you will be feeling fitter, or you will get rid of your headache, or your joint pains will go away, or something. So whatever promise you made in the ad, when you were trying to convince me to come to the customer, repeat that prominently at the top of the page, besides the product name. then you convince me that this is the reason why I should buy. And when I'm thinking of buying something, I must think about whether it is a one-time purchase or what is the frequency at which I will have to buy, especially if it is a medicine. So will I have to buy every month or every year, every day, how many times, what is the cost? If it is too expensive, can I afford it? And then you give more details like where I will get it, or will you home deliver, and from there you can go for the ordering page. Give me lots of payment options, because everybody will not like to pay you through NEFT or RTGS or credit card. So can they Paytm to you, can they do phone pay and things like that. So multiple payment options, a great thing to do.
Okay, so basically establish the purpose of that product is more important if it's a new product, and especially if it's a totally new line. Then we also need to invest in kind of creating the demand rather than just fulfilling the demand.
It is very important.
Advertising also need to happen on channels which need not be for demand fulfillment like AdWords. It also need to happen on channels which are for demand creation like social media and display advertising.
Yes, and you have to continue the experience. So in the social media on Facebook, you said get rid of your joint pains. So that message must actually be reflected on the landing page also. Otherwise I will think, I looked for joint pain remedy and this guy is selling me something else. So I may get confused.
Right, I think we have one last question. We'll just take that and then we will close. So this question is from Vivek Kumar. Okay. Thank you, Vivek. What are the negative impacts that we may have that we face from being a digital marketer? Okay. So again, I'm a digital marketer, so I would also like to know about this. So maybe Arun, you can throw some light on this.
How being a marketer will create a negative impact, but possibly what you should do is stop being pushy. So you should not come as a desperate person. Nobody wants to buy from a desperate person. So even if you're hungry for 1 week, it's okay. But when you go to a customer or when you're having a digital marketing site, don't be desperate. Like please buy. I will offer you 20%, 30%. So there are a lot of people who probably start showing pop-ups. Okay, you have been here for 30 seconds. You have not bought something. I'll give you 10%. Oh, another 10 seconds, not bought anything, I'll give you 20%. So this person will actually wait for you to up your discount rates. So these are the things you should not do. Never be desperate, and don't use things like what Facebook has become infamous for. So don't be a marketer who is not using the right techniques and the right approach to marketing, trying to take shortcuts. It's a very long-term game. Let's stay for the long haul.
So I will add to that because I think as a marketer, the negative thing that I face is that whenever I see a communication, whenever I see an ad, whenever I see anything that's happening around the world, I see the marketing into it and I lose the fun. Because every marketing is supposed to evoke some emotion in you, and none of the emotions get evoked in me. Because I understand the marketing behind it, and when I understand the marketing, I go deep into understanding the marketing and analyzing what the marketer thought, and do not enjoy the marketing that has been done to me.
And there are some lazy marketers also, so who will probably dump a very routine kind of a message to you.
Right.
So you get very frustrated looking at that.
So I think that is it. I think thank you, Arun, for being with us. I hope we have been able to fulfill our promise of giving you actionable items, actionable insights, deep dive knowledge about one particular subject which people don't even consider as part of the digital marketing suite that they use. I think we have been able to go a little bit deeper into it and get you some pearls of wisdom from this, and we hope to add more to it. So please keep following us, keep subscribing to our channel, and tell us what kind of information, what kind of knowledge you want. We will bring in more experts. If required, we will bring Arun back on certain other subjects that he's expert in, and we will extract all the knowledge that he has got for your benefit.
And as they say, no marketing is complete without a call to action. So please post your comments in the comment section below this, and also on Twitter. And you could tweet to me directly at Ebiz India is my handle on Twitter. And Abhishek can tell yours.
You can tweet to me at the rate Abhishek Rungta, or you can also just keep following the page and put your questions there, and we will pass it on to the right person.
And we'll try to answer some of the questions. That's also possible.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.